Welcome to all the devotees for our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. So we were discussing from last couple of weeks from the section known as Daksha Yajna, the episode of Daksha Yajna. So in which we saw that unable to tolerate the news of losing of his wife Sati, Lord Shiva created Virabhadra, ordered him to destroy Daksha and his sacrifice. Virabhadra went and killed Daksha, destroyed the entire sacrifice and returned. Then all the devatas and all the brahmanas who kind of suffered during that attack of the Virabhadra, they all went to Brahma. They narrated everything that what had happened. Brahma initially chastised them and took them to the abode of Lord Shiva, Kailash. There, in order to pacify Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma began to offer wonderful prayers. So Lord Brahma's prayers apparently seems to be like a Shaivite offering prayers to Lord Shiva as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is one way we can see. Or Lord Brahma is offering all these prayers to Lord Vishnu, whose empowerment is there in Lord Shiva. So either way we can take them and we can go through. So in those prayers, in the beginning of the prayers, actually he said that, so my dear Lord, I know that you are the source of the entire material creation. You becoming Sada Shiva and Prakriti create this entire universe and everything is under your control and nothing is out of you. And you award results such as Swarga and Apavarga for the pious living entities and Naraka for the impious living entities. You do not punish. Your punishment of all this Daksha Yajna is not out of anger, but out of your compassion, out of your causeless mercy upon all of them. You have kind of punished all of them. So like that, with that pacifying words, Daksha, not sorry, Lord Brahma is continuing to offer prayers to Lord Shiva. So in the last week we discussed all the way up to 46, 47. We'll just repeat 46 onwards. Navai satam tva charanarpitatmanam bhuteshu sarveshu pasyatam tava bhutani chatmani aprutakitra saksham Praye narosho bibhavaedyatapashum. Here in this verse, Lord Brahma is saying that it cannot be from anger because anger, as it arises in animals, but does not generally occur in those who have surrendered to your lotus feet. So Brahma is saying that that kind of anger generally arises in the people who are like animals, not in those living entities who have surrendered to your lotus feet, who see you in all living beings as Paramatma, or who just desire to see all beings as non-different from you. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Asine Sunicheve Pakecha Pandita Samdarshana. So it's like that they see only the spiritual spark in each and every living entity. They don't see any external coverings and external distinctions, etc. So if your devotees cannot become angry, and your anger is not real anger, it is only your causeless mercy, like that Lord Shiva is telling here. The cause is my anger or my mercy. So like that, Shiva is questioning Brahma. Brahma says that, but that cannot be. It is only your mercy and not your anger. This is expressed by Kaunika Naya. If anger does not arise in the devotees, how could it arise in you? If your devotees does not become angry, how can you become angry? So it is not out of anger, but it is out of mercy. The devotees desire to see you in all beings and see all beings as non-different from you as Paramatma. Or they desire to see all beings as non-different from themselves, experiencing others' happiness or distress as their own. So that is the situation of devotees. And then uh, Brahma is kind of saying that if those who desire to see in that way do not become angry with devotees, then what to speak of those who actually see in this way? The devotees always want to see you in every living entity and they want to see every living entity in you. And they, with a desire only, they do not become angry with other living entities. Then what to speak of somebody who sees you everywhere? Then they will never become angry because their anger is towards the Supreme Lord. How will they become angry? Something like that. The devotees do not act as the animals which become angry, generally speaking. This indicates certain exceptions such as the Kumara's anger at Jaya and Vijaya, or your anger at Daksha, even though you are self-satisfied. So something like that. So generally devotees do not become angry, but sometimes because of circumstances they may become angry. Like four Kumaras became angry with Jaya Vijaya and you became angry with Daksha. These are some exceptions. So like that. But still that is your causeless mercy. It is not out of general anger. So like that. Here Brahma is kind of pacifying Lord Shiva. Whatever you have done is absolutely right, but it is not due to anger. It is due to your causeless mercy. So like that. And then now Lord Shiva is further continuing. पृथक् दिया कर्मदृशो दुराशया परोदयेनार्पितरुद्रजोनिशाम् परान्दुरुक्तैर्वितु वितुदन्ति अरुन्तुदास् तान्मा त्वदीदैव वदां दवद्विदा. Someone can read the translation, verse number 47.
Persons who observe everything with differentiation, who are simply attached to fruitive activities, who are mean-minded, who are always pained to see the flourishing condition of others, and who thus give distress to them by uttering harsh and piercing words, have already been killed by providence. Thus there is no need for them to be killed again by the exalted personality like you.
So the Lord Shiva might say that, how can you say that it is because of my causeless mercy, not because of anger? So now Daksha is going to say that, so my dear Lord, if somebody makes a mistake, the material nature itself awards the suitable punishment. You don't have to award punishment. Someone no need to become angry upon others. The material nature itself will reward one sufficiently according to the mistake one has committed. So then what kind of people will be awarded the punishment by the material nature? That is indicated in this verse. Actually, Daksha was indicated by speaking all these words. Brahma is actually indicated to Daksha by saying all these words. Those who are sinful, Durashaya, seeing difference between you and all beings. Those who see you as different and the other living entities are different. Seeing in terms of material benefit for themselves. Wherever they go, whatever they do, they only look for their own material benefit. Who become angry. So who become angry for even petty thing. At seeing the prosperity of others. If others are prosperous, they do not tolerate such kind of people. And they always afflict others with harsh words, with comments, rumors, envy, etc., etc. And injure other beings. They not only speak, sometimes they actually act very wildly. They injure them. For such kind of people, you do not have to kill them. They have already killed by the law of karma. So Daksha is one such person who cannot tolerate your prosperous position and he was criticizing you with harsh words and he will be killed by law of karma only. You don't have to take that task in your hands and kill him. So like that. So in this way, Brahma is indicating to Lord Shiva that, my dear Lord, you don't have to become angry. Even your devotees do not become angry. You don't have to become angry. If at all it apparently appears to be angry, that is actually your causeless mercy. So something like that is pacifying. So Prabhupada writes in the purport very nicely in this third line. Except for a few persons in Krishna consciousness, the entire world is full of such envious persons who are perpetually full of anxieties because they are attached to the material body and are without self-realization. Then later on, last four lines, Prabhupada writes, Vaishnavas therefore should not try to kill by any action of the body or mind, but should try to revive the Krishna consciousness of others out of compassion for them. The Krishna consciousness movement has been started to deliver the envious persons of the world from the clutches of Maya, and even though devotees are sometimes put into trouble, they push on the Krishna consciousness movement in all tolerance. So Lord Shiva was disrespected, criticized, eventually neglected. As a result of that, Shiva became angry. Sati died. Shiva became angry and killed Daksha. Prabhupada is saying that Vaishnavas don't do like that. There are people in the material world always criticizing us. Instead, Vaishnavas are so compassionate that they want to give Krishna consciousness to even such envious people also. And they tolerate all the offenses like that. Saying that, Prabhupada quotes the verse from Shishashtakam prayers. Trinadapi Sunnicherna Tarorupi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So it's like that. Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph, a Vaishnava should follow the examples of such Vaishnavas as Haridas Thakura, Nityanand Prabhu, and also Lord Jesus Christ. There is no need to kill anyone who has already been killed. But it should be noted herewith that a Vaishnava should not tolerate the blaspheming of Vishnu or other Vaishnavas, although he should tolerate personal insults to oneself. So, like that. That's how Prabhupada says. So, one can tolerate insults of oneself, but one should not tolerate the insults of Supreme Lord or other Vaishnavas. So, something like that. So, later on in the next chapter, Lord Shiva will say that I did not become angry with Daksha. I gave punishment because Daksha did not move even when his daughter is about to die. He did not make an attempt to stop. So because of such kind of harsh behavior of Daksha, I have to punish him. Like that Lord Shiva will tell in the next chapter to Lord Brahma. So it's like that. So Shiva is saying that, but if I do not give suitable punishment out of anger, then everyone would become sinful, since they would not get the results for their sinful acts. Prodayana means by seeing the wealth of others. Aruntuda means by the injure. Killed by karma means that by their offenses, Daksha and others will die by the destiny. You don't have to kill them, because if they become the object of your anger, then they will never have the chance to become saved in the future. So, my dear Lord, if you also take matter into your hands, they will never have any chance that they will be revived. It's like that. So, this verse indicates that Lord Shiva speaks a couple of verses in the end of the 16th chapter. Daivasura Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga. Somewhere in the middle or somewhere at the end. Two verses are there. Tanaham Dishita Krura Samsareshu Naradama. Something like that. I cast them into the wombs of sinful people. And like that, they will continue to perform sinful activities and they'll go away, hopelessly. So Brahma is saying that if you punish and send them to that kind of places, what is the hope for them? You need to be causelessly merciful to them, even though they are offending you, they are criticizing you, something like that. Lord Brahma is pleading Lord Shiva. So like that. Hare Krishna, able to follow the conversation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji. There is some doubt, but I will ask at the end of this all.
Okay. So now, in the next verse, Lord Brahma is further continuing. Yasmin yada pushkaranaabhamayaya durantaya sprishtadiya prutagdrisha कुर्वन्ति तत्र हि अनुकम्पया कृपाम् न साधवो दैव बलात् कृते क्रमम्.
My dear Lord, if in some places materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead sometimes commit offenses, a saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously. Knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by the illusionary energy, he does not show his prowess to counteract them.
Yeah. Here, if further continuing the causeless mercy shown by the devotees. So, if your devotees are like this, so you will be 1,000 times superior to them. In that context, Lord Rama is speaking this verse. Here he says that whenever and wherever Yasmin Yada, those who see difference, whose intelligence is controlled by Lord Vishnu's Maya, commit offense to the devotees. But the devotees show mercy to them and do not attack them. Since karma will act upon them. The devotees know that karma will act anyway. So I don't have to work, I don't have to retaliate for what they are doing to me. So these words actually, what we can say, they echo with the words spoken by Dharma. If you remember in the first canto, the conversation between Dharma, the bull, and Prithvi, the cow, speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj asks, who is the cause for your suffering? Because king supposed to give punishment. Before giving punishment, you need to, as a judge, you need to inquire who is the cause, what is the reason, etc. etc. He was asking, who is the cause? I suspect that this impostor might be the cause, but still I want to hear from you who is the cause. That time Dharma says something. Anyone can remember what did Dharma say? Ah, you are able to hear what Benit Prabhu is saying? One
No,
who points the perpetrator, that person is also part of the guilty. So this is what Dharma says. The same thing is seen here in this verse also. Brahma is saying same thing. Whenever and wherever those who see difference, whose intelligence is controlled by Maya, who commit offenses to the devotees, but on the other hand, the devotees show mercy to such kind of offenders, and they do not retaliate by attacking them, because the devotees understand that their own karma will act upon them. I don't have to react. Then if they can go, they can do whatever they want and they can go away. Then why Haridas Thakur did not retaliate? Why he tolerated? I mean, we are discussing about the devotees only. Devotee means sadhu. Ah, okay. It is like Srila Tukaram Maharaj, Maharashtra. Whoever living in Mumbai, they can understand very easily from the life of Tukaram Maharaj. How did he respond to such kind of calamities, such kind of difficulties, such kind of people? Yes, Prabhu, that I can understand, I can accept that. We, all of us, at least most of us, do not have that kind of capacity, but we should aim for that. This is the highest goal. This is the end goal. When we come to this point, then we are ready to go back to Godhead. He was king, na? He is in position. We are not king. Oh, but he has duty as a king also. That's what we are saying. We are talking about. Parikshit Maharaj did not retaliate when Shungi cursed him. Still, whoever it is, even somebody else also, if Parikshit Maharaj is something for himself, he did not relate. But something is happening bad with the cow and bull. So how can he stay quiet? Bad and cow and bull means the entire world is getting affected by Kali. As a king, how can he stay keep quiet? So somebody suppose it does some injustice to you. You take shelter of a king. Take shelter of a king. Yes. King matlab whoever is the position of king, take shelter of that person to protect yourself. कुछ है नहीं क्या इतना है सब लोग है हाँ? So you want to take the position of the so what do you want to do? Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna, is that okay? Prabhuji says we should do something immediately. How can we retaliate? How can we stay quiet? If we keep quiet, they do once again. That's all, we are gone case.
There are ways and means to dealing with it.
There are no means, like the Prabhuji says.
Like depending on the situation, we can either go away from that situation or we can make ourselves immune, because if we accept in the mind that this person is like that and is going to behave like that, then with every fresh attack he does, we will not be so much affected. Of course, we should guard our interest, that if it is affecting our sadhana or seva, then we should definitely take help of seniors or somebody. But otherwise, we should just leave it, I think, because there will be so many persons meeting us on the way of the path of life like this. So, with whom all we will keep, fighting.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Prabhuji is saying right. Thank you. Do the necessity. Okay. Let's go ahead. What Brahma is trying to say. The devotees, being tolerant of everything, tolerate suffering caused by others. They are merciful even to those who offend them. Whenever and wherever those whose intelligence is controlled by Maya Sprushtadiya, they commit offense to the devotees. But the devotees show mercy to them, since mercy is their nature, and they do not counteract, since karma bestows suffering on them by force, Daiva Balat. Even in Bhagavad Gita second chapter, the Atmarama verses, Siddha Prajna verses section. So some many of the verses will also talk about this. The devotees, when something comes, they do not become elated. When something gone, they do not become morose. When somebody praises, they will not become elated. When somebody criticizes, they do not become morose. Something like that. That is the nature of a devotee. He sees everything as a result of karma and moves on. Of course, this is the ideal principle. This is very difficult for us to practice in our day-to-day life, because currently situations are not like that. At least in the past, the situations are like that. If somebody is tolerant, the others may not torture that kind of person again and again. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, if somebody is tolerant, somebody is meek and humble, that person becomes the ridicule of the entire society. That person becomes the target of the entire uh, naughty community or something like that, whatever you can say. So now the circumstances are entirely different. So we need to deal, as you have mentioned, Prabhuji also do the needful, whatever needed for that time. We should do the needful so that we can guard our bhakti. Something like that.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there is one confusion, like since quite long-standing confusion. This is that we generally hear that devotees don't, whatever bad effects or whatever sufferings devotees get, it is not the because of their karmas. Because at least those who are initiated devotees and also their karmas are already been nullified. So how we see in this light devotees sufferings or trouble given by others?
Okay. The definition of Diksha, initiation is Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan. At the time of Diksha, the disciple supposed to surrender one's own Atma at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So, surrendering Atma means surrendering one's gross body, surrendering one's subtle body, and surrendering one's soul also. So, this is what is expected as per Shastra at the time of initiation. The disciple is supposed to surrender oneself completely at the lotus feet of Krishna and Guru, who is the representative of Krishna. Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan. So if we surrender ourselves completely 100% to Krishna, then whatever happens in our life is 100% due to Krishna. If we have surrendered 50%, then 50% is due to Krishna, 50% due to our karma. If we have surrendered 10%, 10% will be due to Krishna, 90% due to our karma. So that evaluation should be done by ourselves. This is from the practical understanding. And from philosophical understanding, from the highest point of view, in spite of being surrendered to Krishna, the devotee always says that I am so sinful, I don't deserve anything, I deserve only misery, like that. Devotee always says. The devotee will never say that is a devotee. And the devotee will never expect Krishna's mercy, or whatever you can say, removal of all the reactions. As Krishna says that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vajam Tvam Parapabhyo. So a poor devotee never asks that, okay, Krishna, please remove all my sinful activities. Not like that. He will actually say that, no, no, I deserve more and more punishment. I have done so many sinful activities. That is the mentality of a devotee.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So this is what Shastra says. That is very idealistic principle. We may not be able to follow, but at the same time, we should be careful. Govind Prabhu always says, of course, he used to say, nowadays he's not speaking in the Bhagavatam classes, the material nature acts on the gross body level and subtle body level, and bhakti acts on the spiritual level, soul level. So if there are any reactions from the point of view of the material body, gross body, subtle body, we should understand that karma is still working upon us. It is not that just by becoming devotees, all the karma is removed. Not like that. We need to understand what to do, what not to do. And by doing that, we will guard ourselves from not accumulating future karmic reactions. So till now, unknowingly, we have done so many other activities, but for having become a devotee, we should not perform sinful activities so that we will not accumulate bad karmas for our own future suffering. So that is understanding. So in that way.
What I understood
Hare
from this
Krishna,
is,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, that like whenever suppose we are suffering, means for ourselves, undergoing lot of problems or sufferings like that, we should understand that my purification has not happened to the extent that my surrender is not complete, and that is why I'm getting this karmic reaction. Is it the right understanding from you?
Yeah, okay. From the practical point of view, that is okay. That I have not become purified, so I am experiencing this. But philosophical point of view, the devotee thinks that I deserve more and more suffering. I am not getting more and more suffering as a result of my sinful activities is only due to Lord's mercy. So like
Yeah,
that, a devotee thinks.
yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so
That
much.
is very difficult state, very difficult
Yeah,
to practice. But at least we should understand instead of anticipating that, okay, I should be purified. I have taken the process of bhakti for last 10 years. I have also been initiated 5 years back. So now I should be purified completely and I should have no reactions, no suffering. Not like that. Devotee will not think
it's
like that.
not about the time duration one is in the devotion of the.
I'm just giving an example. I'm not
Yeah,
telling.
yeah, yeah, right.
It's
So
not a mechanical process.
actually, it should come from within that whether, and everyone knows that means how much my surrender is and where I'm lacking, where my lacunae are. So, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Correction. Yeah,
Hare
someone else
Krishna,
want.
Prabhuji.
Ah, yes, Matish.
Yeah, me, Prabhuji. See, Prabhuji, kindly excuse me, but sometimes I feel their devotees are really very senior, and Prabhuji's sometimes we really are hurted by them, and we don't know what to do. How do we go about? Due to respect, we keep quiet, but it is very hurting, Prabhuji. How do you respond in that? Every time few times you think, okay, let it be, your ego is being crushed, but
Kindly do not become angry with the instrument of our karma. If somebody is not happy with us, somebody is not friendly with us, somebody is very angry with us, somebody is always criticizing us, somebody always spreading the false rumors about us, we should see that they are simply an instrument of our karma. Shastra says
Prabhuji, if
that
it is someone,
we should not become angry with the instrument of our karma.
Prabhuji, if it is somebody, it is okay, but when it is devotees and senior devotees.
It's okay, devotee or non-devotee, it's okay. They are instrument of our karma. That's all. This is also very difficult to practice. It is not that easy to practice, but this is philosophically it is like that. If somebody is doing to us, why something happens to us for no reason? Can something happen just by chance? Whether
But
somebody
of no
criticizing
fault of
us, or
us.
somebody hurting us physically or mentally or verbally, can happen something just like that, or there can be some reason for that.
As far as I see, there is no fault of mine. I cannot.
How
I
much you
try
can
to
see?
really.
How much you can see?
But in such a case, sir, your advice would be just keep quiet.
See, accept the result of one's own karma or retaliate and make new karma. It's up to us.
No. I wouldn't want to retaliate. But Prabhuji, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि they take you for granted कि ये तो पागल है.
Let them take, na.
ऐसा भी तो नहीं.
That's what they think about the devotee. That's what everyone thought about Tukaram Maharaj. Those people who thought about Tukaram Maharaj, they stayed back. Tukaram Maharaj went back to spiritual world. What do you want?
Prabhuji, this is, I can, sometimes it gets very difficult, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's what we have to understand. That's what we have to understand. We are living in a world which is not at all, what we can say, not that very easy. See, our ideology is something, our surroundings are something else, not at all compatible. The best course of action is to come back to Godhead, which is compatible. The spiritual world is very much compatible to our expectations. Our expectations will never be met in this material world. The material world is highly incompatible world, 100% incompatible. So we should not have high expectations here.
Prabhuji, but okay, see,
We are living in a foreign land. Kindly understand that, and then act. When we are in a foreign land, we start meddling with the people there, or we just want to complete our business and we will go away from that place.
No, Prabhuji, I get what you're saying. I really get what you're saying. But I do have a weakness is if a person is somewhere, I cannot take it at that moment that it is my karma or something.
See, it's okay. It's okay. Mataji, it's okay. Understand. See, all of us are working in progress. We also know that we are not like that. We also respond immediately. We also retaliate. Everything is there. But since we are studying Bhagavatam, we need to understand what is the ideal principle. Where we are supposed to go, that we need to understand. Otherwise, we'll never try for it. We always dealing with the practicality only.
Prabhuji, but I personally feel, this is my feeling, that when you are a devotee, okay, your prerequisite is you don't hurt others. Okay. Sometimes in ignorance.
That we need to practice ourselves. We should not teach others. We need to practice ourselves. By the way, others will also inspire to be practiced. So this is what I have heard from senior devotees.
My God, Prabhuji. But Prabhuji, how do you be when somebody is hurting you?
See, Mataji, it's okay. I understood your point. I mean, it is not only you; it is happening with everyone. Even no one is excused from that. Everyone is in that this thing. So don't worry.
No, but how do you be, Mane? How do you react? How do you, when somebody is hurting you and you are getting really hurted? What do you do? I cannot see the person. That is my weakness. And that creates even more, the other person is, ego deprived.
See, Mataji, when I do that. Please don't repeat the same thing. Kindly understand that we are living in an incompatible world. You cannot change the world. We can at most change ourselves.
But how I should be when such a thing is going on? That is what I'm asking. How I should be.
We should be like the previous purport. Page number 227, purport number 47. Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Saishnuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtine Sadahari. This is verse we read every day morning. You also come to temple. And again you are asking how. That does not make any sense.
Prabhuji. Okay. Prabhuji.
So it is difficult, but we need to practice little bit. That's all. That is what the acharyas have said us. That is what they are expecting from us.
Okay.
If we practice, we only benefited, not acharyas.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
So we'll continue. Verse number 49. Bhavam stupumsha paramasya mayaya durantaya sprushtamati samastadruk taya hatam तया अतात्मसु अनुकर्म चेतसो अनुग्रहं कर्तुमिहार्हसि प्रभो.
My dear Lord,
My,
you are never. Okay, read Mataji.
my dear Lord, you are never bewildered by the formidable influence of the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you are omniscient and should be merciful and compassionate toward those who are bewildered by the same illusory energy and are very much attached to fruitive activities.
So further continuing, Brahmaji says that, O Lord, O Prabhu, since your intelligence is not influenced by Lord's Maya and you see everything, you should be merciful to those whose minds have been conquered by Maya and are afflicted by various karmas. The people in this world are bewildered by Maya and they are controlled by their karmas. They are expected to make mistakes. But you are not influenced by Maya. You are not subjected to karma. You are supposed to see all of us out of causeless mercy. You are supposed to be merciful. You cannot act like us. So like that, Lord Brahma is requesting Lord Shiva. You, the best of devotees. If devotees are like that, they tolerate the mistakes of others, then you, best of all the devotees, should not become angry. You are not under the control of Maya. Thus, you see everything. You see the great suffering that they will endure as a result of their offense. You can understand that whatever mistake they have committed today, they will go through the reaction tomorrow. So you don't have to fast forward the result immediately by creating Virabhadra or something like that. The method of showing them mercy is described. Their intelligence has been defeated by Maya. How can they gain discrimination? How can those whose minds are afflicted by various karmas recognize the devotees? You should be merciful to them. So something like that is telling. So in this way, Lord Brahma is trying to pacify Lord Shiva. So Prabhupada quotes a couple of verses from Bhagavad Gita and other places just to indicate that how devotees respond to such kind of situations and how by taking shelter of Supreme Lord one can be freed from the influence of Maya, etc. Then Brahma further continues. So now he is going to ask what Brahma is expecting from Lord Shiva. How can he correct the whatever disaster happened? कुर्वद्वरस्योद्धरणं हतस्य भो त्वया समाप्तस्य मनो प्रजापते न यत्र भागां तव भागिनो ददु कुयाजिनो ये नमको निनीयते.
My dear Lord Shiva, you are a shareholder of a portion of the sacrifice, and you are the giver of the result. The bad priest did not deliver your share, and therefore you destroyed everything, and the sacrifice remains unfinished. Now you can do the needful and take your rightful share.
Change the mode. So Brahma is saying that, Wo Mano, O Lord Shiva, revive the incomplete sacrifice of Daksha. Daksha, with a good intention for the prosperity of this world, started this sacrifice. But somehow or other, he is not in good terms with you and your wife. As a result of that, Sati died and you killed him, etc. etc. Kindly revive the incomplete sacrifice of Daksha, which is stopped by you, in which the bad priest did not offer you your share, so that you can receive your share. So, by indirectly indicating that, okay, by the performance of sacrifice, the devatas are not receiving their share. Unless until you accept your share, the devatas will not accept their share. So kindly revive the sacrifice so that the devatas will get their share by you accepting your share. So like that, for the sake of devatas, Lord Brahma is pleading Lord Shiva to accept the share from the sacrifice. So Lord Shiva is asking, what should be done now? Brahma is saying that, oh Shiva, revive the sacrifice of Daksha which was stopped before completion by you, in which the evil priest did not give you your share, so that you can attain your share. So that was the whole idea.
Hare Krishna.
Ah, yes.
Prabhuji, what is sorry, excuse me. Prabhuji, what is this share like? Means we hear every time that there are
Idam
or
Indraya Swaha, Idam Nama, Idam Varunaya Swaha, Idam Nama.
yeah.
Whatever oblations we offer while performing yajna, that is meant for those devatas.
So because in Bhagavad Gita also it says na that Devan Bhaveta Nenate Deva Bhavan Tuva Parasparam Bhavayan. So
Yes.
means every sacrifice, even though it is meant ultimate enjoyer of the sacrifice is Lord Vishnu, still all these devatas also will get some share, and by that they feel satisfied. Is it like that?
Simple. In our normal Indian government system, we pay tax to the government, and that tax is given as salaries to all the government employees, starting with Prime Minister all the way up to the peon, the BMC normal person who is washing, cleaning the roads, etc. Everyone will get salary by the taxes paid by the citizens all over the country. The same system with the devatas also. When we perform yajna, it is like the paying tax by which all the devatas are receiving their remuneration for what they are doing. Every devata is doing something for us. Indra is giving rains, Varuna is giving ocean water, Surya is giving sunlight, Chandra is giving moonlight, Vayu is giving air. So they are doing their services. So in reciprocation, we need to pay our tax performing yajna. Then they will get their remuneration in the form of oblations. So like that.
Because sometimes if some havan or something is like nursing yagya or that is performed, like we see na that there also they call for so many means ऐसा लगता है कि ये एक एक वो जो भी है उनका उतना सा घी डाल के how the particular devata will be satisfied करके.
Yes, that is there. So it's like that. If you give all the tax to Prime Minister only, so others will not work. Prime Minister will take his share and the remaining part of the money will be given in salary to all the other ministers and other employees of the entire country. So it's like that.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
Lord Vishnu is the supreme maintainer. He is the main leader of the entire maintenance. So in that way.
Thank you.
Simple system. Of course, this is copied from there only. I'm reverse way I'm telling the example.
So what do you offer to the bishop?
Whatever grains you offer, because we are getting grains from them only, na? इधर इतना दे देते हैं, बड़ा बड़ा एक में बड़ा बड़ा देते हैं. So we are not performing.
You are still getting it like this. You must not be getting it all.
No, there's a different reason. I'm going through dehydration from last 2 days.
Please have water.
I have water, then it's okay. That is not a problem. So now that is working. It's not working. It's a problem. So you are able to get this point? You are trying to say something.
Just one thing that nowadays I haven't heard that in any of the sacrifices, Shiva ke the auditions dete hain.
I don't know. I never sat anywhere sacrifice performing. Sat there, but never clearly observed.
Yeah,
So there must be some oblations offered to Lord Shiva. Or because of that curse was there, already curse was up. Daksha already cursed. As a token of that curse, he might not be taking. But Rudras के लिए कुछ तो रहेगा. Shiva ने तो Rudras.
That is only meant for Shiva. But like in general, like if you see any sacrifice, now they start with like give asana to Ganesh, then Lakshmi, then Vishnu, like that. Even the Pitrus they offer. Shiva kabhi suna?
See, one point as per my little understanding is that generally the sacrifice is performed for those who are maintaining. Shiva service to destruction. Who will sorry. In that sense, who will offer oblations to that person who is going to kill you? Lord Shiva service is from that point of view. Otherwise, those who are maintaining, they need to be offered. Like salary also, those who are working in the government offices, they are paid salary. Will you ever pay someone who is coming and killing, destroying your home? Coming with that bulldozer and ACB and putting the house. Will anybody pay? Will anybody perform sacrifice? Will anybody glorify them keeping their photo in the home? So, from the Shiva point of view, that.
But destroying also is done as a service for the Supreme Lord by Lord Shiva. Now, how can we take it that way?
See, not like that. See, the purpose of performing yajna is to maintain ourselves. It is an act of maintenance. So it's like that. We know anyway we are going to die. So we stop eating.
What I meant was what you were explaining, no, Prabhuji. Like, suppose we can worship Shiva in spite of he being the destroyer as the greatest of Vaishnava, and we can respect him that way and worship him that way, then why can't the oblation be given to him? That is my conclusion.
See, you are mixing two things, separate things. Don't see yajna as bhakti. Yajna, see the yajna as yajna only. There is an activity of karma yoga which is meant for maintenance.
Okay.
Lord Shiva can be worshipped as one of the prominent acharyas of the four sampradayas, as a one of the bona fide representative of Supreme Lord. That is fine. But when you are performing an yajna as part of the prescriptions given by Vedic literatures, the yajna specifically meant for our maintenance. So in that, mainly the devatas who are associated with the maintenance of ours will be worshipped. If at all Shiva is worshipped, he might be worshipped as one among the 11 Rudras who will be in association with the maintenance aspect only, not with the aspect of destruction. If Lord Shiva's name is not pronounced very frequently in the performance of yajna, that means Shiva is treated as a in charge of destruction. That's why his name is not pronounced again and again. For example, if somebody's life is at stake, what is recommended in general, in the society in general, for them to perform? Mahamrutyunjaya yajna. Why Mahamrutyunjaya yajna? Why not some other ritual?
Like
Because Lord Shiva is in charge of the death.
Destruction, yeah.
Yeah, he is in charge of death. So we need to please him so that we can extend our lives a little bit more. So death can be postponed. So there we don't worship other devatas. Only Lord Shiva. We chant one mantra, Ganesh mantra, one Varuna mantra, one Vayu mantra, and then one Shiva mantra. Not like that. Only one Mahamrutyunjaya mantra, how many times? 1 lakh times or something like that they're supposed to chant. It's like that, 1 lakh times. Sometimes it goes for 3 days completely. Chant that mantra.
For the person who's dying to not die.
Yeah. At least dying out of some witchcraft or some evil influence, something like that, to get out of it. Because of some karma reason or whatever reason. So the family members do that for them. So that the bad effect of the grahas can be nullified. The bad effect of these evil forces, Bhuta Preta Pishas, can be nullified by Shiva. Because Shiva is the Lord of Bhuta Pretas, is also Lord of grahas. So he can readjust.
Prabhuji, one small question, like whenever in temples, sometimes we do Sudarshan Yajna or Narsingha Yajna. So that is considered as a part of bhakti or part of karma kanda.
For what you are doing, that makes.
Okay, if you are doing it for just for the Lord's pleasure, then it is bhakti yajna.
Even if the yajna is performed for construction of the temple, for the opening day of temple, the bhakti related activities, it becomes bhakti. If it is related to even a devotee's home, if the yajna is performed during marriage ceremony, during house warming ceremony, it becomes part of karma yoga ceremony.
But many times, like nursing yajna is done when suppose somebody is not well or some problem, so that is also part of karma kanda.
Which problems? Bhakti problems or body problems?
Like, yeah, somebody is critically ill or something. Means many times.
If it is related to the body, then we can take it as karma yoga yajna.
Okay, because many times, even for the Mayapur, they people, when somebody is ill, they perform means online bhi bata ke they do the puja na for the Ugra Nursing Day. So
See, my point, if you have understood what we were discussing over the years, we don't have to despise if something has a quotation tagline with Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is not bad at all. It is not like that. Karma Yoga means our maintenance. The maintenance of the gross body and subtle body is called Karma Yoga. Kindly remember that we discussed about it many times. Bhakti means Ravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Saki, Matun, by doing these things, we cannot survive. We are not on the level of Goswamis. We need to go to office, we need to work, we need to take care of our family members, we need to do so many other social activities, we need to be among the relatives, friend circle, etc. So many things are there. These are all under the purview of Karma Yoga only, all these activities. There is nothing wrong in that. The only intention why we are doing all these activities so that we can peacefully practice Bhakti every day morning.
yeah.
Bhakti activities. So then those activities all become part of Bhakti. That becomes Karma Vishra Bhakti.
Okay. Okay.
So
Very clearly understood.
That is
Thank
not at all bad. Even for a devotee if going through trouble, performing Nasri Yajna, even performing Mahamrutyunjaya Yajna for a devotee is also not a bad. He is not performing that Mahamrutyunjaya Yajna so that he can extend his lifespan and he can earn more money, he can enjoy life. It's not like that. You want to practice Bhakti, you want to be in association of devotees, want to hear more, want to chant more. That is a Bhakti activity. There is no problem in that.
Yeah, because many times it happens, like suppose somebody is ill in the family or something, like the intention is that human life is such a rare opportunity to get, so that that person, if Lord bestows his mercy, he may extend his human life and take advantage of it to perfect his bhakti in how much whatever he can. So
For
that way,
example, same thing. For example, when His Holiness Jayapataksha Maharaj was not ill, not well, he was critically
yeah.
ill, going through surgery and so many other hospitalizations, etc. All over South India, those days we were in Bangalore. Every temple performed nursing yajna. Initially, when he got this heart stroke here in the Mumbai only, Jaslok Hospital was taken here only. It happened all. That time I was in Bangalore. So all devotees in all over South India, every temple they performed 24 hours Sankirtan, and the next day, I mean in the same day, nursing yajna.
All ISKCON temple or rest of the temple?
ISKCON temples. ISKCON temples wherever Maharaj disciples are there mainly. Others also they might have chanted, but at least we personally saw that they performed nursing yajna. The reason is if Maharaj is there among us, so we will have the association of Maharaj, we all get benefited like that. That is the only idea. So it should be like that. We
So
can
we
do.
can take it in short, Prabhuji, that whenever, because we are not completely purified yet and we are still at the sadhakas, so at times taking help of a karma yoga or the thing like karma mishra bhakti is okay for the current moment. Eventually we may get completely purified and that time we may not do this thing.
It is not okay. It is the only way.
Okay.
उसके अलावा हम नहीं जी सकते. हम गृहस्थ devotees cannot live like Srivas Tagore's family members, and
Yeah, because
brahmacharis and sannyasis cannot live like Raghunath Das Goswami.
like even the Goswamis, what you are saying now, Prabhuji, like means when Bhakti, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was critical, no? So that time I have seen like many of the sannyasis also taking part in the nursing yagya or things like that.
Yes. No, it's not only yajna. Yajna is only one simple activity. We discussed many times. I mean to say that all our duties, daily duties. I am a brahmachari. I need to perform so many duties according to brahmachari ashram requirement. If Maharaj and others they are sannyasis, they also need to perform some duties according to sannyas ashram requirements. And all you grihasthas need to perform your duties as a grihastha. Going to office, earning money, taking care of the family members, friends and relatives, elderly parents, etc. So many things are, so many duties are there. All these duties come under the purview of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga only. So in that say, we cannot perform bhakti 100% as in total. That can be done only by the people like Srivas Thakur as a Grahastha or Goswamis like renounced people. Otherwise, we should accept and do it. Do the needful.
So, do we have any hope, Prabhuji, like when we perform bhakti like in this way, or do we have any hope to go back? Because we are not anywhere near the pure devotion of like what you mentioned about Srivas Thakur and all. And I don't know how many lives we will take to reach up to that level, or we may not even reach. So, what
Okay.
hope?
Wait. Hope. చూడదు scripture ఉన్నాయి practical example. There is a class, engineering 4th year, computer science engineering. So in that class, 50 students are there. So one student is getting score like 80%, other one getting 79%, of the 78, 76, 70, 50, 65, 60, 55, 50, 45. So how many of the students can be selected in the campus interviews out of 50?
तो मोस्टली तो सभी सिलेक्ट हो जाते हैं ना प्रभु जी.
हाँ, सभी सेलेक्ट होता है ना. So don't worry. So have a faith, have hope.
Yeah. Okay.
May not be in the first company, second company. Today one company comes and they may select 10 people. That tomorrow other company will come and select 10 more people.
Yeah.
So may not be in this lifetime. Next lifetime it will happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
So now Lord Brahma is kind of concluding now. जीवताद्यजमानोऽयं प्रपद्येताक्षिणी भगा भृगोर्संसृणीरोहन्तु उष्णोदन्ताश्च पूर्ववत् देवानां भग्नगात्राणां ऋत्विजां चायुधास्मभिः भगवानुगृहीतानाम् आसु मनयोस्तु अनातुरम्.
My dear Lord, by your mercy, the performer of the sacrifice, King Daksha, may get back his life, Bhaga may get back his eyes, Bhrigu his mustache, and Pusha his teeth. O Lord Shiva, may the demigods and the priests whose limbs have been broken by your soldiers recover from the injuries by your grace.
Yeah, so like that he is requesting. He says that Daksha should get his life back. Ayam Yajamana Jivatad. Let the Yajamani of the sacrifice become alive. He is dead now. Let it become alive. Bhaga should get his eyes. Because Bhaga raised his eyes when Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva. Virabhadra plucked out his eyes. Bhrugu's mustache should be grown again. Because when Daksha was criticizing Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva, Bhrigu was kind of playing with his beard and looking at Daksha, kind of encouraging him to speak more, something like that. That's why Virabhadra removed his mustache. Pusha's teeth should be restored. Pusha opened his teeth and encouraged Daksha to criticize Lord Shiva more and more. So Virabhadra removed his teeth. So he can let his teeth be restored. O Shiva, may the devatas whose limbs were injured by your weapons and stones and the priests favored by you quickly recover their health, and all other Brahmana priests and all other devatas who have bodily limbs mutilated, let they be revived. So like that. So basically he's telling that reverse the scene. What was before, make it back. Something like that. Louder, louder. Yeah. Every living entity's body in the material world is made up of 24 metal elements.
Prabhuji, please repeat the question.
Prabhuji is asking the question that what kind of bodies the devatas have? Their bodies also fleshy bodies like us are different.
Okay.
So as per our studies in third canto, the bodies of all living entities are made of same 24 elements. But the percentage of the elements may be different. Our body might be having earth element more. Their bodies might be having some other elements more, subtle elements more than the grass elements.
They also have to suffer from injuries and
because Lord Shiva, Devatas and Virabhadra, they are all same category. Na? Among them, whatever may be the composition of the body, they are all same. So they will injure themselves, something like that. So, in that way.
Was Daksha dead?
Yes, his head was cut and his head was offered into the fire. It was burnt to ashes already.
So Shiva could revive Daksha.
Obviously, why not?
But he didn't revive Sati.
Brahma did not ask that. Brahma asked only about Bhrigu and other people only. He did not say that may you revive Sati also. Okay, that is going against Sati's desire. Sati does not want to retain her connection with Daksha anymore. If Lord Shiva revives Sati, her connection with Daksha also will be revived. But the same Sati will be born afterwards as Parvati and marry Lord Shiva. So it's okay. There is nothing will happen to them. But for these people, something should be done now. So it's like एषते रुद्रभागोस्तु यदुच्छिष्टोद्वरस्य वै यज्ञास्ते रुद्रभागेन कल्पताम् अद्य यज्ञः.
O destroyer of the sacrifice, please take your portion of the sacrifice and let the sacrifice be completed by your grace.
O Rudra, destroyer of the sacrifice, Yajnahan, may you take your share, which is the best reminder in the sacrifice, by which the sacrifice may be completed. Unless until you accept your share, none of the devatas will accept their share now. They have learned a lesson now. Previously, somehow or other, they assembled there to accept their share without you. But now they have understood what the mistake they have made. So now they will never accept any share. If they don't accept any share, they will not send forth rain, wind, sunlight, moonlight. The entire world will be put into ruination. Is that you want? Is that what you want, my dear Shiva? Like that Brahma is asking. So kindly accept your share, so the devatas will accept their share, so that there will be prosperity and auspicience in the entire world. So somewhat like that. May you have your portion, which is the best reminder by which the sacrifice may be completed. Anyone wants to know more about sacrifice, what the sacrifice is all about, how to perform, where to perform, when to perform, why to perform, etc. etc. Kindly read through the purport. And Prabhupada says in the modern Kali Yuga, performance of sacrifice may not be practical. The best practical sacrifice is Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi. So like that Prabhupada concludes the purport. So that is all about from chapter 6.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt, like all these Brahma's request to Lord Shivana there, means in the notes also and in the book also, I am reading this from the 42nd verse explanation given in the notes, that the Lord of the whole universe composed of Prakriti and Purusha. And because I know that you are superior to the Prakriti and Purusha of the material world. These atoms are explained and they are Shakti and Shiva. But I know that you are the famous Brahman without the difference. So I'm very much confused regarding, means we know that there is no difference between Lord and Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. They are like, we give Brahma Samhita's reference and everything. But at every time when while addressing, we don't address Lord Shiva as if like, he is the Brahman and he is the everything and he is the Srushti and Prakriti and Purusha and everything. So whether Lord Brahma is, in what perspective he is addressing Lord Shiva this way. So I'm very much confused.
So while starting only we mentioned about it in the last week also we mentioned that here Lord Brahma's intention is to pacify Lord Shiva, not to flatter him, not to say anything. Here Lord Shiva is very angry in one sense. So with Daksha, with all other devatas who are supposed to be intelligent enough to understand what is right, what is wrong, still they are making mistake. He is very angry at the leader of all of them. He wanted to teach a lesson to all of them. He taught them a lesson. So he is still angry. In order to pacify Lord Shiva, so Lord Brahma is offering prayers like a Shaivite. So all Vaishnavas, worship Lord Vishnu as the source of everything. The Shaivites worship Lord Shiva as the source of everything. So whatever prayers we offer towards Lord Vishnu, the Shaivites offer the same prayers towards Lord Shiva. So like that, Lord Brahma is offering prayers to Lord Shiva here. And another way, Lord Brahma is a wonderful devotee of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva is a Gunavatara. So Lord Brahma is offering the prayers to Lord Shiva, who is a Gunavatara, nothing but the empowerment of Lord Vishnu. He is offering the prayers to Lord Vishnu's portion in Lord Shiva. So like that also we can see. So we don't have to repeat these prayers whenever we go to the temple of Lord Shiva, all these things. They are not required. When we go to Lord Shiva temple, we can pray other prayers. Which Lord Shiva pray to Lord Vishnu, those prayers we can pray offer to Lord Shiva. Yeah, Rudra Geet. Our fifth canto, there are some wonderful prayers by Lord Shiva, etc. Those prayers we can offer.
Okay, so in spite of knowing everything, just to pacify the situation, he is offering these prayers to portion of Vishnu in the Shiva. That way
Yes.
we are.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now the sacrifice performed by Daksha, the destroyed sacrifice will be revived, and it is closed. It is very successfully completed. That is the subject matter of the next chapter. So in the 7th chapter, Daksha and the priest glorify Lord Shiva. Then Lord Vishnu appears and becomes satisfied at the conclusion of the sacrifice. So that is the topic of this chapter. So here this is a big chapter, about 61 words are there. This is the breakup of the chapter. So initially Lord Shiva responds to Brahma. So whatever Brahma requests, Lord Shiva says, okay, let it happen, like that. He kind of rearranges all the matters. Then the Devatas request Lord Shiva, my dear sir, please come to the sacrificial arena. Unless you come, we will not go there. If you come, only in your presence, we would like to complete the sacrifice. Otherwise, we won't do. So Lord Shiva goes there. Everyone was revived. Daksha begs forgiveness. The sacrifice started. Lord Vishnu appears. Everyone offer their prayers to the glorification of Lord Vishnu. The sacrifice completed. Everyone depart. And Maitreya Muni awards Falashruti. So that's how by the end of this chapter, this Daksha Yajna episode will be completed. So now in the first 5 verses, agreeing to the request of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva tells what should be done, how the situation can be corrected. Maitreya uvacha iti ajnenanunitena iti ajenanunitena bhavena paritushyata abhyadayi mahabaho prahasya shruyatamiti.
The sage Maitreya said, O mighty armed Vidura, Lord Shiva, being thus pacified by the words of Lord Brahma, spoke as follows in answer to Lord Brahma's request.
So Maitreya is saying that, O Vidura, pleased by the request made by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva smilingly said, listen to me. He began to speak, Shruyatamiti, kindly listen. Lord Shiva was pleased by Brahma, who had made his kind request. So now in the next 4 verses, Lord Shiva repeats our response to Lord Brahma. Mahadeva uvacha nagam prajesha balanam varnaye nanu chintaye devamaya vibhutanam dandastatra drito maya.
Lord Shiva said, my dear father Brahma, I do not mind the offenses created by the demigods. Because these demigods are childish and less intelligent, I do not take a serious view of their offenses, and I have punished them only in order to right them.
Lord Shiva says, O Brahma, I do not speak about or I do not think about the offenses committed by the children. Balana Magam, the offense committed by all the small children, those controlled by the Lord's Maya. I punish them to teach them only. To teach them good lesson only, I just punish them. O Brahma, I punish the children in order to teach them, not out of anger. So Prabhupada writes, there are 2 types of punishment. One is that which a conqueror imposes on an enemy, And the other is that a father imposes on his son. Lord Shiva is by nature a Vaishnava, a great devotee, and his name in this connection is Ashutosha. He is always satisfied, and so he did not become angry, as if he were an enemy. So Daksha was punished by Lord Shiva only because Lord Shiva thought Daksha to be one of his child and is becoming so restless, so he wanted to correct and then punish him. So in that way, not out of anger like a king punishes envious enemy king, not like that. He is not inimical to anyone, rather he always wishes the welfare of all. Whenever he chastises a person, it is just like a father's punishment of his son. Lord Shiva is like a father because he never takes seriously any offense by anyone, especially by the Devatas. Because Devatas are dedicated servants, dedicated followers of Supreme Lord. So Lord Shiva, why does Lord Shiva becomes angry with them? Something like that. So it is like that we always hear, na? Even the Asuras, when they are killed by Lord Vishnu, they will be awarded Sajya Mukti. So even by killing them also Lord is benefiting them, not at all harming them. So in that way. So Lord Shiva's punishment is also benefit to conditioned souls. It is like the father punishing children. So now he continues. Prajapater Dagda Shirshno Bhavatu Ajamukam Shira Mitrasya Chakshushe Ksheta Bhagam Swam Bharshito Bhaga.
Lord Shiva continued, since the head of Daksha has already been burned to ashes, he will have the head of a goat. The demigod known as Bhaga will be able to see his share of sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra.
Yeah. Let Daksha, whose head has been burnt up, Prajapater Dagda Shirshno, the head has been burnt already, burnt to ashes, have a goat's head. Let him have the head of a goat, which was there, which was supposed to be sacrificed in that sacrificial arena. Veerabhadra, instead of sacrificing the goat, he sacrificed Daksha only. Wait, Pura one, I will see why Lord Shiva says like that. Let Bhaga see his portion of the sacrifice with Mitra's eyes. So Bhaga's eyes were plucked out by Veerabhadra because while Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva, Bhaga wide opened his eyes. So Veerabhadra plucked out those eyes. So he says that let Bhaga see the sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra. There is another Devata Mitra. He has eyes. But one person can see through the eyes of the other person. This is Devatas. Not we. Devatas can do that.
The point is the Devata for digestion.
No. Excretion. Excretion or death. Yeah. Mrityu is for death. Mitra is for excretion.
Related to digestion, basically. So what is he? I mean, his eyes.
No, it is nothing to do with seva. That is seva. That is department seva. These are like maybe close friends. They may be close friends to each other. Devatas, na. Everyone has their own respect to service. It's okay. So you see through the eyes of your friend, something like that.
Amongst the Devatas.
Yes. Daksha would get the head of a goat because he had the words and intelligence of a goat. Bhaga got the use of Mitra's eyes since his eyes were contaminated with fault. He could only enjoy his portion of sacrifice with those eyes since his eyes were useless, being devoid of spiritual vision. Because previously he was unnecessarily finding fault with Lord Shiva. So what is the use of having that kind of eyes which found fault with Lord Shiva? So he says that only while eating you will get the eyes to see, not other times. When yajna is performed and the oblations are offered on your name, you will get to see what kind of oblations are offered onto you so that you can accept them through the eyes of Mitra. Once your honoring food is over, then you will not have ice. So, otherwise, what is the point of having the ice? If you are with your eyes, you are unnecessarily finding fault with Supreme Lord or Lord Shiva. So, mistake. See, with whom they are finding fault, that is important. Pushastyu yajamanasya baddair jakshatu pishtabuk deva prakrita sarvanga yema ucheshanam dadu.
The demigod Pusha will be able to chew only through the teeth of his disciples, and if alone, he will have to satisfy himself by eating dough made from chickpea flour. But the demigods who have agreed to give me my share of the sacrifice will recover from all their injuries.
Lord Shiva further says that let Pusha eat through the three teeth of the sponsorer of the sacrifice. Matlab, Pusha will not have his teeth back. So whoever is the sponsorer, they need to chew it and offer the chewed one. Then he will have that. That means from our practical point of view, it is like this. So the small child is there. So,
They are also given crushed food.
normally they prepare the food rice, they boil it too much, it becomes very soft and add some ghee or butter and then feed the child. If there is some fruit, hard fruit or something like that, what the parents will do? They break into small pieces. Of course, here in the city they may break it with some hammer or something like that. But in the villages, the mother breaks it with her own teeth and put the broken pieces into the mouth of small kid. Some peppermint or something like that. I saw in the villages. Even today also they do like that. In the towns they are, what we can say, they are professional.
That what you just mentioned
Are
is out of love.
Yes.
Here is going to be punishment.
So whatever. Or nowadays in the cities you have all the chocolates. Chocolates are anyway soft. But in the villages chocolates are not so. Nowadays it may be there, but in the olden days all the peppermints used to be, which are very strong, very hard. You need to break. Otherwise you need to chew it for 10 minutes. You need to chew it till it continues. For small kids, they break it in their teeth and they put it in the mouth, something like that. So Pusha has to eat through the teeth of the sponsorer of the sacrifice, or let him eat ground meal if he is alone. If there is no sponsorer who can help him to chew the food, he can eat only powdered food, not the raw food. We generally offer grains in the fire sacrifice, the barley, wheat and all. So that cannot be chewed. Without teeth, it cannot be done. But the same made into powder and adding some water or milk, it becomes like drinkable. That kind of thing can be accepted by that person. So in that way. Let the devatas who did not give me the best share have their limbs restored. But other devatas whose limbs were broken, they have already received sufficient punishment. Let them revive their. If there is a bone injury, so it will be healed instantly. They don't have to go through 10 days or 15 days, what you can, the plaster of Paris, etc. They've already gone through whatever pain last 1 day, 2 day or whatever. So now they'll be revived, something like that. Let Pusha, when alone, eat ground meal. When he is alone, when there is no one to help him, he can eat only the flour added with milk or water. If others are present, he can eat through their teeth, since he should not have teeth, having shown his teeth at the devotees and laughed at them. So when Lord Shiva was criticized by Daksha, he was laughing by showing his teeth. This is the punishment. The Devatas who did not give the best share of Lord Shiva, best share to Lord Shiva, had received injuries because of taking their share at the sacrifice of Daksha. Let them have all their limbs back, since they did not side with Daksha when Daksha criticized me. So all the Devatas, by the request of Daksha, they came there. Because for the Devatas, Daksha is like the, not only chief, is like the father or uncle, something like that. Because the Devata's father is Kashyapa. Kashyapa's father is Marichi. Marichi and Daksha are co-brothers, Brahma's sons. When Daksha is inviting all the devatas for sacrifice, Devatas is like grandfather. How can they say no to grandfather? And is the chief of all the Prajapatis. So he has to is the responsibility of performing yajna. Then Devatas will be survived. They came there. So many things are happening, but they don't have in a position to correct it also. In front of Daksha, they are like infidel boys. So, but they did not side Daksha. They did not say Daksha that okay, whatever you see, you do is right. Not like that. They kept quiet. They try to stay away from entire scene that is going on. But still, since they are there, because at the same time they cannot go away because Daksha invited them, and they cannot be taking part of the mistake that is happening. But because they were there, they are part of the reaction, like collateral damage.
Is that?
Collateral damage.
What term is this?
It is used in terms of war. When there is a fight happening between two people, the side by area gets damaged. When neighboring country throws bombs on army base, the army base gets affected, and if there is a nearby village, the village also gets affected. That is called collateral damage. Collateral damage. So these devatas are part of that. So Lord Shiva says, okay, no problem. Whatever pain they have gone through, that is sufficient for them. Let them get their bodily parts back, something like that.
Just one thing is coming in my mind, if you can ask you.
Yes.
When I was reading the first canto about the Bhishma part, I did not take right side of being with Pandavas, something like that, or probably in the case of Draupadi's this Asat he did not say anything. Sorry, he said
something. He said Dharma is very difficult to understand what is right, what is wrong. I'm not in a position to ascertain what is right now.
Yeah, so I had heard from one of the senior brahmachari that it's always better to take side than to remain neutral.
Going through all says we cannot be neutral.
Yeah.
So we always are one side. So better take right side, like that it says always.
So here I'm saying that these devatas, they neither said anything to Daksha nor they could favor exactly Shiva. So they went through some punishment. So do we understand this, that always in life should we be taking side? At times you're not in a position to take side. You have to be neutral.
So by not saying anything, they in one sense they are on the side of Daksha.
They were not
at the same time they cannot say anything. They are not in the authoritative position to say something because Daksha is their grandfather. What they can say? Daksha will say chup. So they can't say anything. So it happens many times in our life. That's why we need to tolerate and we need to honorably accept the reactions.
Yeah, so it's better to take side as per your intelligence or to be.
Yes. If one should be in the right side. Otherwise, if you happen to be in the wrong side, unwillingly accept the consequences. Like Bhishma accepted the consequences.
Exactly.
Unwillingly, he was on the side of Adharma. So he happily accepted the consequences. He never complained that I don't deserve this kind of punishment. He stayed in that Ampashaya for more than a month. It's almost 2 months. Some say that 54 days he was there in the Ampashaya. Who will be ready to be on that Ampashaya for that many days? Instead, they will always complain, what mistake I did? Oh God, why are you giving this punishment? Are if they are pious people, they may say that let me die immediately. Bhishma had that Vardhan. He could have died immediately, but did not die. He willingly wanted to go through the pain. For unwillingly taking the side of Adharma.
So that is Bhishma. He had a
Yes, Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Prabhuji, like I was thinking, listening to this conversation, that so there's something called as act of commission, and there's something called as act of omission. Like even in the law system, there are punishments for act of omission also, like where the right action should have been taken, but it is not taken.
Yes.
So that also is considered in kind of mild crime, but it is still crime. So similarly, like devatas here, when we are talking about, uh, even though means Daksha was their grandfather or whatever, but if something wrong is going on, they should have taken side of the right. So maybe because of that act of omission, they had received some kind of punishment in terms of losing their limbs or something, but that was a mild offense, and that is why Lord Shiva is giving them back their limbs.
Yes, yes, yes. It is in sense actually they do not have any desire to commit offense to Lord Shiva. But what can be done? Here the host invited them, and they cannot go away, and they cannot be there. So they are in a fix. So it is like that.
Yes, Prabhu.
But at the same time, they are not complaining that okay, we have unnecessarily received all this punishment. They accepted that okay, we were there when Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva, we did not do anything, so we received all this punishment. Okay, then I have no problem. They have honorably accepted it. But their intention is to complete the sacrifice. For now, mistake is done. We have received punishment, but the sacrifice should go on. That cannot be stopped. That is meant for the well-being of the entire universe in big picture. So that is their motive to approaching Lord Shiva and approaching Lord Brahma for all other things.
So if you're concluding this particular talk, you're saying that always better to choose one situation as per your intelligence, thinking that this is right.
But every time we may not be able to choose, even though in spite of knowing that is right, we may not be able to choose right.
Yeah.
There will be some situations we will be neutral or will be on the other side.
Yeah, wrong side.
Then we need to accept the consequences honorably.
So knowing that this is wrong side and knowing that if I choose so, I will have some consequences. I will have.
For which we need to repent and accept.
But still I choose that, but not remain.
It's not that I choose.
I mean,
I was forced to be part of that.
Fine.
I don't have any option only.
But if I have
situation is like that, then do the needful.
So is it good? Is it good to be neutral then to choose?
No, we can't be neutral now. We will be in one of the parties. We may say that I'm neutral, I did not do anything. But are you there? If you are there, means you are one of the party. You are listening to him, you are listening to him also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can means suppose those devatas who were not agreeing with whatever was happening, but they were also not in position to say anything to Daksha. They could have just walked off the whole scene.
How can you go? How can you go? Your grandfather called you. You cannot go like that, na? That is the problem. That is etiquette. You cannot go. They are not as elder as Daksha to go. Quit and go.
Okay, so etiquette is more higher than taking part in the Vaishnava Aparadh, knowing.
Yeah, of course, that is true. Vaishnava Aparadh, that is there. But see, situation, we cannot impose our own current circumstances. In the current circumstances, even the children from the very childhood itself, they speak against the parents. But that is not the culture in the Vedic tradition. In the past, it is not like that. So,
Okay.
see, culturally, we are.
Yeah, right.
We may not be appreciate what they are doing, why they are doing like that. So Vaishnava Aparadh, they should have quit, but they cannot. How can they go?
Yeah. Yeah, right, Prabhuji. Current scenario is much.
Culturally, we are in a different scenario. We cannot appreciate all these things. Hey, what can you are not practical? How can you do like that? How can you say that? So it is like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
For any small thing, we want to prove ourselves right.
Yeah.
But Vedic culture is not like that.
Yeah, they used to accept whatever the elders say, even if it was they know that it was wrong. Still, they used to. Yeah.
Yudhishthir Maharaj could have retaliated from the day one against Duryodhana, against Dhritarashtra, etc. Did he ever do that?
Yeah.
He never raised his voice.
Even Lord Ram went to the forest, now leaving everything just for the order of the superior.
Yeah, yes, Lord Rama also. He did not raise his voice. Even Lakshman said, no, how can you do that? My dear brother, I will kill. I will kill, I mean, in the sense, I will kill Dhritarashtra, I mean, the Dashrath Maharaj. He is after woman. How can I leave him? He is not fit to be a king. He is not understanding what is right, what is wrong. I will kill him or I will arrest him and make you king. But Lord Ram says, if you want to do it. But I am going to the forest. Even when Bharat was coming to Chitrakoot, he says that I will kill Bharat. All this is because of Bharat only. I'll kill Bharat and I'll take you to Ayodhya and make you king. Ram says that if you want to do, you kill Bharat and you go Ayodhya and rule. I am going to forest. No, no. Initially stopped, still Lakshmana is not listening. Then he said, if you want, you can do. But not for me, for you if you want. But Lakshmana would never do for him. When Lord Ram would say that, he would not go ahead. He would stop there itself. Because he never wanted anything for himself. He wanted for Lord Ram. So that is the culture. Louder.
Somebody had killed Duryodhana,
Hmm.
and this war would not have happened.
Who would kill?
Anybody had I think some.
हाँ,
नहीं होता था ना इतना बड़ा ये सब.
वार होना चाहिए था. वही भगवान आने का उद्देश्य था. वही Lord Krishna came down to reduce the burden of the earth. If war would not happen, how the burden will be reduced?
It is in hindsight after everything happened that we don't do.
नो नो, शुरू से उसका ही प्लान चल रहा था. ये मास्टर प्लान है. ऐसे एक दिन में नहीं होता है वैसा. उनका बर्थ से प्लान चल रहा था. Here the birth only Dhritarashtra was told, this son will be the cause of the destruction of your dynasty. Still, why did Dhritarashtra did not take that?
Because his death,
Huh?
his putra was blinded by love for his.
That blindness by love is all because of karma. That led to the battle of Mahabharata. That led to the clearing of all unwanted elements on the surface of the earth. That is the master plan.
Krishna says now, Nimitta Matra Bhavasabha Sachi. So naturally, this was just an instrument.
Who?
I mean,
Arjuna?
I mean, the entire this episode of Pandava getting capped, whatever, sent to exile. It's for this reason only that the entire bad population had to be eradicated from this planet.
What is going to do after that?
No, we come to know after
That even we don't know even today also. What is the reason we don't know? That's what Lord's plan will not be known to everyone. It will be known only at the end.
And then after 500 years,
If-
is right there, then we don't.
If everything is known to you, then you are God. Then there is no need of God. You are in control. So it's like that. For everything, there is a master plan.
master plan.
So then we'll continue. Lord Shiva is further saying that Bahubhyam Ashvino Pushno Astabhyam Kuta Bahava Bhavantu Advarasya Chanye Bastasmasrur Brugur Bhavet.
Those who have had their arms cut off will have to work with the arms of Ashwini Kumara, and those whose hands were cut off will have to do their work with the hands of Pusha. Their priest will have to act in that manner. As for Bhrugu, he will have the beard from the goat's head.
Let the priests and others have arms by using the arms of Ashwinis. The priests who are offering oblations to other devatas but not for Lord Shiva, they will not have their own arms. Let they have the arms of Ashwini Kumaras only, so that they can do offering oblations into the fire sacrifice. Other time they will not have arms. Arms of the Ashwinis and the arms of Pusha. Let Bhrugu have the mustache of a goat. Previously was proud of his beard, his mustache. Even now he will have the mustache of goat. Because Daksha is getting goat head. So he is getting goat mustache. Those priests who favored Daksha, raising their arms and shouting, saying that well said, they and had their arms broken, let them use the arms of Ashwini and Pusha. Those priests who supported Daksha, let they not have their arms back. They can have the arms of Pusha or Ashwinis only to offer the oblations, only for the time of performing yajna. Afterwards, no arms. So that the performance of yajna will go on. Because that is the whole intention of Brahma. Yajna should be going on. That time they will have arms. And the other person will have eyes during that time only. Other times, no eyes. जैसे कार्य वैसा फल.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, but how this one person will use the other person's hands? I means this is a material thinking on my part, but like that person will have to use his own hands for particular purpose, and how the other person will also use his arms or his hands.
Same. I mean, like it is shown in the movies. I mean, I'm giving an example that person will not have arms throughout the day, but when the sacrifice is performed that 1 hour, suddenly the arms appear and he will perform the yajna. And as soon as the yajna is completed, the arms are disappeared. Something like that. So something like that.
So those arms will be given by Ashwini Kumara's arms, like that.
Yes, yes. Ashwini Kumara's arms only we will expand into them.
Okay, so and one more foolish question, Prabhuji, like again you will say that don't see everything in the light of bhakti. But like we say that even the brahmacharis or prabhujis whoever come to temple, they don't have mustache or beard or something like that. But Bhrigu being the head priest of such a big sacrifice, like how he is having the mustache and beard both.
That's what we see in the pictures, na? All the sages have a big beard. All the great sages, whenever we have some drawing, have a big beard. That is indication of the sages who are not interested in clean shaving. The sages, all the munis, all the rishis who are living in the forest, who are leading austere life, their hair is grown like that. So that's how it is always picture shown.
So yogi or muni just here, that way.
Like that, like that.
Okay, okay.
Bhrugu's mustache had been torn off by Veerabhadra. Since he was the chief advisor of Daksha, he got the mustache from a goat's head. Daksha got goat head and Bhrigu is the chief advisor of Daksha got the goat's mustache. Something like that. So this is how Lord Shiva kind of corrects. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes about this so bodily transplantation, organ transplantation. It is there from the time immemorial, not something new now. Like that, Prabhupada writes about it.
I think one thought have the element of fun in this.
No, it's not fun. See, as a judge, awarding the suitable punishment. That's all. Simple.
But after so many years, we are having fun reading this. I'm just thinking,
not fun. We need to, by reading this, we need to understand that while dealing with great people, even a small mistake also will lead to big punishment. So, so it is a lesson to be learned. It is not a, apparently seems to be a funny thing. So getting a goat head, getting a goat beard, etc. Funny thing, but it's not like that. He did not do much. He just was doing like this. He got a humiliating thing. And one fellow just looked at Daksha, Shiva with opened eyes and encouraging Daksha. He lost his eyes for life. And some Brahmanas raised their hands saying that, okay, right. They lost their hands only for the entire life. So we need to be careful while dealing with others. That is the lesson.
Prabhuji, there are 2 points in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says that means even though Daksha had got the goat's head, his intelligence was intact as previously has been. So, and in the previous chapter, we have read that it was said that in spite of being a Brahmana, he has acted like a Brahma Bandhu, and his intelligence means he is acting like a animal mentality, and that is why let him have the goat's head. So how we understand these two things? At one point, it is said that in spite of being in a Brahmana's body, he is acting like an animal, and that is why he should have goat's head. And here it is being said that in spite of having a goat's head, his intelligence was very intact, like previous.
See, when I read that purports, I am understanding is that we always hear that animals act based on instinct. They are mainly interested in what is the immediate benefit. They don't look for the future. And when 2, 3 animals are going, if there is some grass, good grass, so one animal which wants more grass, it will hit on the other 2 animals, so that the other 2 animals will go to the far distance, so that animal can have more grass. That is the general tendency of animal. And here Daksha also we are seeing that kind of tendency. Daksha only want to be glorified by everyone. Daksha want to be respected by everyone. Daksha want to be worshipped by everyone. So that was the reason. Since he is displaying the behavior of an animal, that he is fit to be having animal head. So in that way.
Yeah, and one more thing, the last line of the purport, it says that specifically anyone in Krishna consciousness goes back to Godhead, back to home, on leaving his present material body. So it has been said about devotees, like anyone in Krishna consciousness, like there are so many various levels in Krishna consciousness. Somebody may have just come, somebody is at whatever, somebody is at a level of Goswami. So which persons in the Krishna consciousness, because it has been said that it on living his present material body. Means it is not that he will get some another birth, he will perfect his devotion, and then this few time back we discussed in today's class.
If we in the present body, in the present life, if we come to the platform of Bhava Prema, we will go back home back to Godhead. Here Krishna consciousness means not some English Krishna consciousness. When it translated into Sanskrit, it becomes Bhava or Prema.
But here it is anyone in Krishna consciousness.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anyone in Krishna consciousness means anyone in Bhava and Prema. I'm translating into Sanskrit. Anyone in Bhava and Prema in the same body, in the same life, one can go back home back to Godhead. So whether we are going to come to Bhava Prema in the same body or we need to get into another body, that is in our hands.
Okay, thank you.
Don't go with English. Translate into Sanskrit and see. Many times English is confusing.
Actually, it was very hope giving, no, Prabhuji. That is why I got stuck there.
No, it's not hope giving. It is putting ourselves in illusion.
And I said, Srila Prabhupada has written this, so yes, this is for me. That way.
Not like that, not like that. Anyone in Bhava and Prema is qualified to go back home back to Godhead. Not from Adho Shraddha platform.
Okay, yeah. Great. Thank you, Prabhu.
So then Maitreya is continuing the discussion. Tada sarvani bhutani shrutva midushta moditam pratitushtamabhistata sadhu sadhu iti atabruvan.
The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, all the personalities present were very much satisfied in heart and soul upon hearing the words of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the Benedictors."
Maitreya said, all present hearing the words of Lord Shiva with satisfied hearts, they said, we approve of this. Sadhu sadhu iti ata abruvan. Everyone said sadhu sadhu, well said, well done, thank you, thank you. It's like that. So when basically in order to settle the matter, in order to revive the yajna, whatever arrangement Lord has done, Lord Shiva has done, everyone became happy because even though they might have gone through some painful situation, they have accepted it honorably for whatever mistake they have done. And now they are happy that the yajna will be restarted and everyone will be in normal, happy condition. So in that way. That was the whole thing. But in the purport, so Prabhupada actually writes, these devatas are becoming happy for small material things. But devotees won't be like that. People approach Lord Shiva for some material benefits, but devotees are not after material benefits. Then Prabhupada talks about the story of Sanatana Goswami's touchstone. Then there was one deity of Lord Shiva, Chakleshwar Mahadev. So when Sanatana Goswami was staying there next to, what is that place? After Manas Sarovar and the Gordhan Parikrama, what is that water pond comes? Sorry, after Kusum Sarovar.
Chakleshwar Mahadev.
No, adjacent to Chakleshwar Mahadev temple, there is a water lake. No, not going on this side. Lord Krishna goes along with all the gopis and Nauka Vihar. Gordhan Parikrama, no one remembers. Radhakund, if you start coming towards into Gordhan area, you come across the Kusum Sarovar. Mansiganga. Yeah, next to Mansiganga is the Chakleshwar Mahadev temple. When Sanatana Goswami was there, that entire place became filled with lot of bees. What do you call? Maki. So flies. He was Sanatana Goswami was feeling very uncomfortable. So he wanted to leave. But Lord Shiva comes and tells him that request, so my dear Sanatana Goswami, please don't leave. Stay for some more time. I want your association. He stayed back. But Lord Shiva told those Makis, no, never ever disturb him. Even it said that in that area there are no Makis even today also. So that is Lord Shiva becomes happy with the association of devotees. But the people when they approach Lord Shiva, they ask for material benedictions. So in that way.
Prabhuji, also there are no mosquitoes.
Yeah. Mosquitoes, flies, etc. They are not there in that area.
Actually, it is said that it's called for the demigod of those insects, and then said no more.
No disturbance. No disturbance to Sanatana Goswami.
But here the story is mentioned of that of touchstone.
Of course, I added this also. Lord Shiva becomes happy, that kind of association. When touchstone means Lord Sanatana Goswami had touchstone. It can fulfill all the material conditions. He was not interested in that. But people will be interested in that. So in that way.
The other story of touchstone is mentioned here. That when Brahma came and asked for touchstone.
That is all complete story. I am not narrating, but anyway, because that is known to all the devotees. That's why I am not narrating. I just added the other part of the story. So Lord Shiva will be pleased with devotees like Sanatana Goswami. Not with the people who approach him for material benedictions. Like Sanatana Goswami touched on, people are after that. But he kept it in a corner. So something like that. Medustama, one who gives most plentifully. So that means whenever somebody approaches Lord Shiva awards results, material results plentifully. Something like that. Those hearing the words of Lord Shiva spoke that sadhu sadhu in that way. Tato midvamsa mamantrya sunashira saharshibhi bhuyastadeva yajanam sa midvad veda soyayu.
Thereafter, Bhrigu, the chief of the great sages, invited Lord Shiva to come to the sacrificial arena. Thus, the demigods, accompanied by the sages, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, all went to the place where the great sacrifice was being performed.
Yeah. So after saying that, my dear Lord, whatever you have said, very appropriate. Thank you very much for restarting the entire yajna. And thank you very much for readjusting our mutilated bodily limbs, etc. Thank you very much for everything. But we all request. Now Lord Shiva says that please go and perform yajna. That is what you want now. Please go and perform. They said no way. Last time we have been part of that yajna without you. We have experienced the results of that. Now we don't want to make that mistake. Unless until you come, we don't go. So the Devatas and the great sages, they invited Lord Shiva And along with Lord Shiva, they went to the sacrificial arena. This time, since Lord Shiva is also coming, Lord Brahma also came. Last time Lord Brahma also did not come, since Lord Shiva was not invited. So now the Devatas learned their lesson, the sages learned their lesson. They don't want to make the same mistake once again. With Lord Brahma, with Lord Shiva, they all went to the place where the yajna is supposed to be performed. The Devatas requested Lord Shiva, saying that the sacrifice can only be completed in your presence. Without you, we can't perform, we cannot complete that sacrifice. Then, with the approval of Lord Shiva, the Devatas and all the sages went along with Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to the sacrificial arena. So it's like that. Vidaya karsnena chatat yadaha bhagavan bhava sandadu kasya kayena savaniya pashoshira.
After everything was executed exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Daksha's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice.
Yeah. Doing completely as Lord Shiva said, they joined the head of the sacrificial goat with the body of Daksha. The same thing we can also see in the case of Ganeshji also. For Ganeshji also, his initial head was burned by Trishul of Lord Shiva. Then later on the elephant head was added to Ganeshji's body. So they did what Lord Shiva said. This implies they also gave the eyes of Mitra to Bhaga and carried out the recovery of all other persons in addition to Daksha. So everything whatever Lord Shiva said, all the arrangements are performed. The same thing also happened in relation to Rahu Ketu also. During Samudra Manthan episode, when Mohini Murti was giving nectar to the Devatas, both Rahu and Ketu sat in between sun and moon. So Mohini Murti gave nectar to Ketu. Ketu drank that nectar and swallowed it. Nectar went to the abdomen. Rahu was drinking the nectar. Nectar was still in the mouth. Sun and moon identified these are not Devatas, these are Asuras. So Mohini Murti invoking Sudarshan Chakra cut off their head, both the heads. So because of the fire of the Sudarshan Chakra, the head of Ketu was burnt to ashes. And the body of Rahu also burnt to ashes. But the head of Rahu was still intact because nectar is still there. And the body of Ketu is intact because the nectar is there. Then Lord Brahma requested the sages, do the needful. Because they drank nectar, they cannot be, without complete body, they cannot die. Then the sages saw a snake nearby, they cut the snake into two parts. They added that snake head to Ketu, the snake body to Rahu. So Rahu will have human head, snake body. Ketu will have snake head, human body. So such kind of things are not one only with Daksha. Like that, there are so many examples in the Shastra. Many times it happened.
So till date, it's the same thing.
Now also. Rahu will be with human head, human-like head and snake body. Ketu will be with snake head and human-like body. Of course, not human-like, but powerful. Much powerful is it. These are the part of Asuras.
If they were not given the remaining parts of the body, what would have happened to them? Like Brahma said that you give this perspective.
Because one cannot be with incomplete body, no? There should be complete body. How will they continue to exist? Without head, without eyes, how the body can continue to?
They would have come over now.
It's not like that.
So mercy.
It's not mercy. Even in our case also we see that some child is born blind or something like that. The parents never happy become seeing like that. It's okay, but since they drank nectar, in order to show the potency of the nectar, Lord Brahma made that arrangement. They are also required. Rahu, Ketu are the two in charge of the two planets. They are also they are also doing some seva for Brahma. They are also supervising all our activities. They are doing the seva because when we make mistakes, they are the instruments of avoiding our reactions to our mistakes. Rahu was not, Rahu is not giving trouble to us. Our bad karma is coming through Rahu. We are actually troubling Rahu by making him as an instrument of our karma. Huh?
Don't blame the judge.
Don't blame the instrument of our karma.
The judge.
Prabhuji, like we say that those who drink the nectar, they become immortal. So here we understand that okay, Ketu, it was just in his mouth; it had not gone inside. But for Rahu, it was already in the abdomen, nectar. It means it has gone to GI
Opposite.
tract.
For Ketu it is in the abdomen. For Rahu it is in the mouth.
Okay, okay, yeah, other way. So means जिसके abdomen तक गया, then that person should become immortal, na, because it has already gone in the body.
No, here Amrita cannot give immortality. It can give the lifespan for one Manvantara period. They can become Amara. That is for one Manvantara period.
Okay, so whenever we say that nectar Amrita makes somebody immortal, that is for one Manvantara period.
That means they become long lived. They live for one Manvantara period.
Okay.
Not
So
rest of eternity.
yeah, still like means the thing had gone to his GI tract properly, so he should have lived for a Manvantara.
Yeah, he is living now. Now also he is living there.
Acha, that is why he was given that body and allowed to live like that.
Now the body is incomplete. Now half body is there. With half body, what he will do?
Okay.
For example, nowadays we hear about plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Some part of the body is not good. The plastic surgery is done. Some bone is not well. The iron rods are put, steel rods are put inside the body.
Yeah, because this is a new thing.
Some
Like
arrange-
today, what we heard. I have always heard that because Rahu's head means their heads remained alive. That is why they cause problem and they cause means to be.
No. His body made complete, but with a different bodily organs.
Okay.
Not with the same human-like organs, but other organs. Like here, Daksha is given a goat head. Incompatible bodily organ. But what can be done? Mistake is like that.
Okay. Thank you, bro.
Sandhiyamane sirasi daksho rudrabhivikshita sadhya sutta ivottasto dadrishe chagrato mrudam tada vrushadvajadvesha kalilatma prajapati शिवावलोकाद अभवत चरद दृढ़ इवामला.
When the animal's head was fixed on the body of King Daksha, Daksha was immediately brought to consciousness, and as he awakened from sleep, the king saw Lord Shiva standing before him. At that time, when Daksha saw Lord Shiva, who rides upon a bull, his heart, which was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, was immediately cleansed, just as the water in a lake is cleansed by autumn rains.
Yeah. When the head was joined to the body, as Shiva watched, Daksha suddenly awoke as if from deep sleep and saw Lord Shiva in front of him, standing in front of him. At that time, Daksha, whose heart had been contaminated by hatred of Shiva, became pure like an autumn lake from seeing Lord Shiva. So at least Daksha to some extent realized what a mistake he did. With a kind of remorse and repentance, he became cleansed of his mistake, something like that, by looking Lord Shiva in front of him. So that is we have to see. So basically Prabhupada writes about Sutta Ivotisau. So how we feel getting up from deep sleep. So that is the feeling Daksha had. So in that way, he felt as if he went to deep sleep and immediately got up. He was woken up by somebody else. As soon as he woken up, he saw Lord Shiva in front of him. And just by looking at the sight of Lord Shiva, he kind of became purified. That is the glory of Lord Shiva's sight. So then continues. Bhavastavaya kritadhi nashaknod anuragata outkantyad bhashpakalaya samparetam sutam smaran krishra samstabhya cha mana prema vivalita sudhi Sasamsha nirvelikena bhave nesham prajapati.
King Daksha wanted to offer prayers to Lord Shiva, but as he remembered the ill-fated death of his daughter Sati, his eyes filled with tears, and in bereavement his voice choked up, and he could not say anything. At this
Yeah.
time, King Daksha, Prabhuji, you want to explain or because two verses you
Yeah,
read, na?
please
Yeah.
read 12th verse also.
At this time, King Daksha, afflicted by love and affection, was very much awakened to his real senses. With great endeavor, he pacified his mind, checked his feelings, and with pure consciousness began to offer prayers to Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Daksha, by seeing Lord Shiva, felt a kind of purification within his heart. Then he wanted to offer prayers to Lord Shiva, who was standing in front of him. But remembering his dead daughter, Sati, because he was very much attached to her, in great longing, his tears filled with the tears filled his eyes, and he could not speak. Controlling his mind with difficulty, with great affection, Daksha began to praise Lord Shiva with a sincere heart, having come to his senses. Having understood what is his mistake, he began to offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Only two prayers, even they are not like prayers only. They are very simple, casual words. When we read through, we understand. They are not exactly like the prayers that are generally offered by devotees to Supreme Lord. So they are simple, casual words only. भूयान् अनुग्रहो भवता कृतो मे दण्डस्त्वया मयि भृतो यदपि प्रलब्धा न ब्रह्मबन्धुशुश्चवां भगवन् अवज्ञा तुभ्यम् अरेश्च कुत एव धृता व्रतेषु.
King Daksha said, "My dear Lord Shiva, I committed a great offense against you, but you are so kind that instead of withdrawing your mercy, you have done me a great favor by punishing me. You and Lord Vishnu never neglect even useless, unqualified Brahmanas. Why then should you neglect me, who am engaged in performing sacrifices?"
Yeah, he says that though I offended you, my dear Shiva, you have punished me, being merciful to me. You and Lord Vishnu do not neglect even the correct Brahmanas. Then what to speak of those with firm vows? So Daksha, even while saying also, he is still boasting about himself. Though I offended you, you have punished me, being merciful to me. You did not punish me treating me like enemy. You have punished me as a friend or relative or something like that. Because you and Lord Vishnu never neglect the Brahmanas, even if they are corrupt. Then what to speak of those Brahmanas who are with firm vows? I am one such Brahmana with firm vows, with a vow of performing yajna, which is meant for the benefit of entire world. Of course, one way what he is doing is actually good for the benefit of entire world. But on one case, he is not in good terms with Lord Shiva. That is the problem. So, though I criticized you, you punished me and taught me lesson, thinking of me as your relative, not being indifferent to me. That was proper. You and Lord Vishnu do not neglect even the corrupt Brahmanas. So by considering me as one of your relative only, you punished me. You did not consider me as a enemy. Like that, Daksha is saying. So Prabhupada talks about, according to Vedic civilization, a Brahmana is not supposed to be punished. Because they know what is what. But a Brahmabandhu can be punished. That is what we see in the case of Ashwatthama. Lord Krishna says that he is not a Brahmana, he is Brahmabandhu, he can be punished. Arjuna says, no, no, though he may be Brahmabandhu, but he is son of Guru, I cannot punish. Something like that. Then Daksha says, Vidya tapovratadaran mukatasma vipran brahmatma tattvamavitum pratamam tvatakshrak tad brahmanan paramasarva vipastu pashi Pala pashum iva vibho pragrahita danda.
My dear great and powerful Lord Shiva, you were created first from the mouth of Lord Brahma in order to protect the Brahmanas in pursuing education, austerities, goals, and self realization. As protector of Brahmanas, you always protect the regulative principles they follow, just as a cowherd boy keeps a stick in his hand to give protection to the cows.
Now, tribute philosophy. You first created the Brahmanas, engaged in knowledge, austerities, and vows. Vidya, Tapo, Vrata, Dharan. The Brahmanas' main functions are Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Parigraha. So, reading the Vedas, teaching the Vedas to others. Yajan, Yajan. Performing Yajna, engaging others in performance of Yajna. Dana, Parigraha. Taking charity and giving charity. So, it's like that. That kind of the Vidya, Tapo, and Vrata. So you have created the Brahmanas who are engaged in knowledge, austerity, and vows from your mouth to protect the Vedas and spiritual knowledge. O Lord, O Supreme, therefore you protect the Brahmanas from all dangers, just as a cowherd protects the cows holding a stick. It is you who have created the Brahmanas so that Brahmanas can learn the Vedas and teach the Vedas, can perform the Veda, perform the Yajna, and engage others in performance of Yajna, can perform the austerities, can teach others performing austerities, etc. etc. So you only created them. It is your responsibility to protect them. Even though they may make some mistakes here and there. You need to forgive and protect them. Because they are your own sampati. So like that, he is putting blame on Lord Shiva only. This verse gives the reason. You becoming Brahma created the Brahmanas in order to protect the Vedas. Or you created the Brahmanas to protect the Vedas and knowledge of the Atma. Therefore, O Supreme One, you protect the Brahmanas. We are like animals and you are the protector of the animals. Just like a cowherd boy protect the cows, you like a cowherd boy supposed to protect all of us who are like cows. So something like that. At least he's putting himself in the lower order and giving respect to Lord Shiva. And praying for the protection of all the Brahmanas and also himself, though they may tend to make mistakes here and there. So like that. So then Prabhupada talks about Lord Shiva is always willing to protect all the materialistic men, all the material people living in it is with the material desires. Is Ashutosh, he fulfills all their desires and he always protects them, takes care of them. So like that. So that's why Daksha is seeking protection from Lord Shiva. Then finally he kind of gets into some philosophy and concludes his words. Only 3 pages. Yosau maya vidita tattva drisha sabhayam क्षिप्तो दुरुक्ति विशिकैर विगणय्य तन्माम अर्वाक् पतन्तम् अर्हतमनिन्दयापात् दृष्टाद्रया स भगवान् स्वकृतेन तुष्येत्.
I did not know your full glories. For this reason, I threw arrows of sharp words at you in open assembly, although you did not take them into account. I was going down to hell because of my disobedience to you, who are the most respectable personality. But you took compassion upon me and saved me by avoiding punishment. I request that you be pleased by your own mercy, since I cannot satisfy you by my words.
Yeah, he says, though I insulted you with harsh words in the assembly of all the great sages and devatas, not knowing the real truth about you, real position about you, you did not consider the insult as significant. And you, by your glance of mercy, saved me, who had fallen down by my offense to the most respectable person. Though by committing offense against you, I fell down to the lowest position. I killed for that reason. But still, out of your causeless mercy, you revived me. You should be satisfied with your show of mercy. I don't have anything to offer you so that you can be satisfied. May you be please satisfied by your own causeless mercy. Even Lord Krishna tells the same thing to the gopis in 10th canto Bhagavatam. Even if I am offered the lifespan of Lord Brahma, still I cannot repay what you have done for me. May you be satisfied with the glorious deeds of your devotional activities. Something like that. Naparameham niravadya samyujam. Nasadu krutya vibudayushapiva. Something like that. It continues. I cannot atone properly. You are abused by me. You have no knowledge of the truth. Sorry. You are abused by me, who have no knowledge of the truth. Did not consider it significant. You saved me, who had fallen down by your compassionate glance. Otherwise, I could not be delivered from hell. You should be satisfied by the mercy you give others. I have no ability to satisfy you. My dear sir, I cannot offer any more prayers because I don't know what to pray, how to pray. Please be satisfied with your causeless mercy alone. It's like that. Daksha stopped. Only 3 verses spoke and then stopped. So it's like that. Any questions able to follow till now? Arachana, devotees?
Yes,
Any
yes.
question? Kshemapayaivam sa midvamsham brahmana chanumantrinan karma santanayam asa sopadhyayar ritvik adibhi Vaishnavam yajna santatyai trikapalam dvijottama purodasam niravapan veera samsarga shuddhaye.
The great sage Maitreya said, thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priests, and others. Thereafter, in order to resume the activities of sacrifice, the Brahmanas first arranged to purify the sacrificial arena of the contamination caused by the touch of Veerbhadra and the other ghostly followers of Lord Shiva. Then they arranged to offer into the fire the oblations known as Purodhasa.
So Lord Shiva returned. Everyone got their limbs back. Every Daksha got back his life. Daksha begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva. Now matter is settled. Nothing should go on. Now Maitreya is saying, being forgiven by Lord Shiva, Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, undertook the sacrifice along with the priests and the teachers. For performing the sacrifice, the Brahmanas first offered Purodasa related to Lord Vishnu in 3 vessels in order to purify the sacrifice from the touch of Veerbhadra. If you remember in the past chapter, when Veerbhadra came along with all the ghostly beings contaminated the entire sacrificial arena by breaking it, by urinating it, and by so many other things. So now they are going to purify it. First thing is they are purifying the entire arena. Daksha undertook the sacrifice with the priests and teachers. For performing the sacrifice, the Brahmanas offered the Purodasa related to Lord Vishnu in order to purify it from the touch of Veerbhadra and his followers.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
This Daksha's heart change has happened exactly due to what? It is due to the mercy of Lord Shiva, or just after putting the goat's head, he has been completely changed. Like when Sati was burning, he didn't have any tissue of his existence didn't move. But when his goat's head has been put, he has realized all that mistakes what he had done. So this dramatic
not like that. See, when Sati was killing herself, he did not respond. But Sati died. Later on, everyone criticized him. Later on, Veerbhadra came and destroyed everything and killed him. So now he knew that he dead. He was dead by Virabhadra, but he was revived by Lord Shiva. And just by looking at the sight of Lord Shiva, there was a purification of the heart. The purification of the heart not completely by remorse, but it is because of the presence of Lord Shiva. Where
But
later on we see.
Lord Shiva only was present, no Prabhuji, in the assembly, and he was looking at him and.
Second time he was not there. First time he was there, but second time Lord Shiva was not there. Only Sati was there.
No. Very first sacrifice when he criticized Lord Shiva, that time also he was.
That time his knowledge was blinded by his pride. Now his pride has been destroyed by Virabhadra. So he kind of realized what is his position.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Later on, something happened to Daksha. What is that?
We will discuss. Next week we will discuss that. It comes. And also in the future, 6th canto again Daksha will come. He again commits offense against Narada Muni. So it's like that. Everything is not black, everything like black and white. That's why I'm saying that he is becoming pure is not because of the complete remorse. It is because of the presence of Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva was present, he felt the purity of the heart during that time. Addaryunatta havisha yajamano vishampate dhiya vishuddhaya dadyau tata pradurabhuddhari tada prabhaya tesham द्योतयन्त्यादिशो दशा मुष्णं तेजा उपानीतस्तार्क्षेण स्तोत्रवाजिना.
The great sage Maitreya said to Vidura, "My dear Vidura, as soon as the king Daksha offered the clarified butter with Yajurveda mantras in sanctified meditation, Lord Vishnu appeared there in his original form as Narayana. Lord Narayana was seated on the shoulder of Stotra or Garuda, who had big wings. As soon as Lord appeared, all directions were illuminated, diminishing the luster of Brahma and the others present."
O Vidura, Daksha using the Advaryu priest to offer oblations concentrated with pure mind so that the Lord appeared. At that time, Vishnu, diminishing the effulgence of the Devatas by his effulgence, which shone in 10 directions, arrived on Garuda, whose wings are the Bruhad Ratnantara verses. If you remember, in the first time when Daksha was performing offenses because of the criticism, curses and counter cursing, Lord Shiva left. Shiva's followers also left. Some of the Brahmanas also left. Some of the Devatas also left. But the sacrifice continued by other Brahmanas. It was completed. That time Lord Vishnu was not there. Second time when Lord Shiva was not invited, Lord Brahma also did not come. The sacrifice stopped in the middle only. But now third time, now Daksha has no offensive mentality towards Lord Shiva. And with a pure mind, he began to perform the sacrifice. He offered oblations into the fire, chanting the names of Lord Hari. Now Lord Hari himself came. In the previous two cases, Lord Hari did not come. But now, since Daksha is in proper understanding, he do not harbor any more ill feelings towards Lord Shiva or towards anybody else. He do not harbor any feelings about himself as great, etc. He became humble. Now he is performing the sacrifice the way it should be performed. As a result of that, Lord Vishnu came. So Lord Vishnu, diminishing the effulgence of the Devatas who are there by his own effulgence, which shone in 10 directions, arrived being seated on Garuda, whose wings are the Bruhad Ratantara verses. So when Garuda comes by moving his wings, the moving of the wings itself are like the chanting of the Vedic mantras. So with that he came. Atta Havisha means with the oblations of Advaryu priest by chanting Yajurveda mantras. O Vidura, Daksha concentrated in such a way that the Lord appeared. Daksha is with wholeheartedness and with pure heart, with pure feelings. He prayed to Lord Vishnu to accept the oblations. Then Lord Vishnu personally came to accept the oblations in that sense. Lord Vishnu arrived, diminishing the effulgence of Brahma and others. The winds of Garuda were the Bruhas Ratantara mantras. Shruti says the wings are the Bruhat Ratantara verses, etc. So that is how now the sacrifice is being performed in a proper way, where all the devatas headed by Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu are assembled there. So it's like that. So next, from verse number 20 to 23, 4 verses talks about the beautiful description of Lord Vishnu's form, the way he appeared there, the way he is being seen by all the other assembled devatas and sages. That we will continue next class, followed by the devatas offer praise to Lord Vishnu. That also will continue in the next class. So we'll start here. We'll stop here with the verse number 19, 20 onwards. We'll continue in the next class. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय.